I'm Caroline Hill, and this is my co-director Simon from Creed Comms. Creed help employers to define or redefine their employer brand and to then support and help embed that through the resourcing strategy and people comms. And one of the tactics or initiatives that's really successful in helping bring all of that to life is a referral strategy. There are, if this clicker works, I'm going to use that. There's lots of data around referrals, and in general, most organisations that are doing it really well are feeding their talent pipeline with healthy numbers through referrals. Some of these numbers might make you a bit envious. I don't know whether they do or don't. Some organisations are getting up to 40% of their hires every year through referral. A piece of work that we're going to share with you shortly is an organisation that's doing just that. And for them, that amounts to 200 hires every year through referrals, so a massive achievement and massive cost saving for them. Referred candidates generally are pre-engaged, so they're easier to convert, therefore can make recruitment much quicker. And in general, it's measured that referred candidates perform better and also stay longer, so you're not having to recycle candidates all the time. So it's the lowest cost per hire a lot of organisations achieve. So where are you on that? Earlier this year, the Irons network did a bit of a survey with all its members. I don't know if any of you took part in that. But some of the results were quite surprising, and you marked yourself really quite low. Shame on you. At 5.8 out of 10 in terms of the performance of your own referral strategy. A large proportion also said that they were getting less than 20% of their annual hires through referrals. And many of you are investing less than 5k a year in marketing your referral scheme. That's one agency fee that could be being, put to better use. So we're here today to say, please, little dog always works. Give your ERP some love. So what's making it difficult? What are the things that are stopping you from making this successful? And a lot of that can come down to awareness. The new joiners that have joined your teams this week, have you told them that there's a referral scheme? Do they know it exists? Do they know what rewards they can get from it? Are your rewards relevant to the audience and the population that you have in your business? There's lots of talk this morning about, is your employer brand relevant to the audience or the business or the sector that you're in? Well, you can also tweak your rewards so that it's not just all about cash. There are other things that you can do. And have you made the referral process easy so you're not making it difficult for people to do this for you? So we're going to talk you through some top tips around how you create impact. And impact stands for identity. Is the campaign or identity around referral, does it stand out from all the fuss and noise of the rest of your internal comms? Are you using all the channels at your disposal internally? Are people involved in it? Are they participating? Or is it just a few people that are doing it regularly and the majority aren't? And are you appealing to different people at different levels? And when you do have referral success, you should be celebrating that over and over again, so you've got that ripple effect that more and more people find out why it's successful and how it benefits them, their team and the business. And are you using the latest technology to make referrals easy? So in terms of identity, lots of people say don't call it a scheme or a programme. Nobody wants to be part of a programme. Well, if you need to call it that and it's relevant to you and your people and it's the most common term, then you use referral programme. That is fine. Don't be too concerned about that. Other people also say don't call it refer a friend. Yes, we want people to think much broader than their close friendship networks. And we want, this marketing effort to make them think much broader than that. This is a brilliant opportunity to re-embed the EVP you're talking to your own people internally, remind them of why they joined and why they should stay and why they should talk positively to others about joining the organisation. Your values, your employer proposition, culture, but all in all, have some fun with it. This doesn't have to be the doldrums of corporate marketing. It doesn't need to look like your customer or consumer marketing does. It's internal. You can get away with a little bit more. I'm going to share some work for an organisation that we've been working with for 8 years. And when we first started working with them, they had a scheme that they'd called Books for Buddies. It was all about cash and it was all about friends. And it kind of worked, but over time they needed to remarket it. So we then helped them adjust that, and we launched a scheme called Matchmaker. And that was to help them think broader than just their friends network. And it was working really well in the contact centre, but in head office it needed to work harder. So it just broadened it out a little bit to different skill sets. 2 years on, the business had been acquired by a global insurance company, very corporate, very US. Marketing didn't let you get away with much. But we pushed them, and then we relaunched the referral to be called New Faces. We used the opportunity as a good engagement exercise to get their people involved in the creation and the marketing of the scheme, and all the comms shows their people. And this was also about reminding them of the types of skills and behaviours that they want to attract. This organisation, last Friday, we relaunched their referral for them again. It was the biggest and the best one we've ever done and they've ever done. 3 sites in the UK and 5 European businesses were involved. It launched across the whole thing on Friday in one day. They had 170 referrals made on that same day, right across all those countries. Brilliant success and loads more to go at. Hopefully at the next event I'll be able to show you that, but it's embargoed until Friday. So that's all about identity. We need to think about how this is marketed internally, and this is where you need to make friends with internal comms, because not everybody in their resourcing teams have the time or the resources or the people that can help make this happen. And it shouldn't be a short-term, quick fix campaign that just happens and then a week later it's disappeared. This is long-term. It should be there forever. You're going to be recruiting forever. So the marketing effort is about creating internal talent scouts and making sure that you use all the channels that are available to you internally and externally. The campaign we did last Friday, we ended up creating 100 different pieces of artwork, copy, creative, collateral, digital artwork, 100 different pieces to cover every channel for every person in the business. So it's making sure that we use as many as we possibly can. And then thinking about, actually, can you treat referred applicants differently? Can you fast track them? I'm sure you have some form of process when a vacancy is signed off that you go to internal first, and then maybe you should go to referrals next before you think about going external. So can we make that a bit more of a priority? So next up, we've got a little video from the launch of the referral scheme from 2 years ago, unfortunately, for Assurant, just to try and demonstrate some of the sort of engagement and the fun that was involved in the day, and actually how relevant it was to their population at the time. Hopefully this will play.
So hi and welcome to Assurant Solutions' brand new employee referral program called New Faces. At Assurant Solutions we recruit lots of different characters, different new faces, and we want a lot more people, a lot more friends and family to join the Assurant team. to launch the new ERP scheme, we have loads of activities, so all our employees from all different sites are joining in today. So we have competitions, we have the Army Assault course, we have an operation game which is quite fun. We have prizes for the best referral, for the most referrals. We have caricature artists on site, so doing individual caricature drawings. And we have massage therapists on site, giving everybody a head, shoulder and neck massage. Everybody's enjoying it. We have free ice cream and we have a barbecue also.
Refer a new face today and earn up to £1,000.
So on to the P, which is about participation, which I think in most organisations you'll find that 20% of people will generally throw themselves into most things. Whenever you're launching any kind of activity, event or programme, 20% of people will naturally get there. And then you've got 20% of people who probably won't. People who, you know, maybe, let's face it, maybe part of your 15 or 10% attrition that's about to happen, maybe a reticent. So the question is then, how do you really leverage the 60% in the middle? So from an ERP perspective, we think there are three things that you can do. And the first thing is to trigger some of those micro rewards that were talked about in the video there. Micro rewards are aimed at rewarding participation. The issue that some people face with a referral program is it's a bit all or nothing. So if somebody joins us, we'll give you 250 quid, and then if they complete probation, we'll give you another 250 quid. But are you rewarding good behaviour? Micro rewards enables you to reward good behaviour, and it's behaviour that we're trying to promote, not just outcome. So if you give somebody £20 for signing on to the app, or if somebody recruit or refers somebody who gets through the telephone interview or makes it through the first interview, then they've reached a threshold of quality, then maybe we should give them a micro reward for that. And that will help drive participation. Secondly is pay it fast. And this is something that might be slightly controversial, but I don't mind being controversial. I believe that you should pay 100% of the reward on day one. Why would you give and write a big fat check to a recruitment consultant for 100% of their reward for making a referral, and you won't do the same for your own people? People who joined through your referral program will, statistically from our research, stay longer and perform better and be more culturally and behaviourally aligned with your business. They're a lower risk than those who join through recruitment consultancy. So I think a way of really grabbing people's attention and promoting participation is for you to give 100%. After all, it's been your or the line manager's decision to hire them. Why are you offsetting some of the risk of your decision on the referrer? And keep people informed, keep them updated. It's really important that if somebody has made a referral, that you keep them involved in the process, because the more positive a process it is for the referrer and the referee, the more likely they are to continue to do that. So they're really, I like the three golden rules of driving up participation. And then on to appeal, and this is where it gets a little bit sort of theoretical, I guess. We're all quite complex creatures, and I think the issue that we've come across with referral programs is for a long time they've actually only appealed to one aspect, which is greed. So how often have you seen a referral poster that says, refer a friend and we'll give you £500? So we think, and there's been lots of research done, there's a great book written by a guy called Nir Eyal. It's called Hooked. And he's looked into and researched how brands build leverage from and raving fans. And it's looking at everything from soap to burgers, how they can really utilise things like social media to access and leverage different points in people's wants and needs to actually create behavioural change. And he summarised it as we all, as people, seek rewards in 3 areas. We seek rewards of the tribe, we seek rewards of the hunt, and we seek rewards of the self. So the tribe is, we're quite innately social people. Even the most introverted amongst us will have relationships with other human beings. And we actually want to feel part of a tribe. We want to contribute to the success of the team around us. And then the hunt, whilst we're quite social, we also realise that innately we need to feed ourselves and clothe ourselves. So that's really about, the hunt is about appealing to that sense of, yes, the reward, but also that competitive spirit that exists within people. And then finally, the self is more like Maslow's self-actualization. So that's talking about how are we doing something for other people, as well as just our social group, how are we doing something for the greater good. So we looked at our referral programs and we said, okay, let's take that on board and let's think about how do we appeal to something wider than just greed? How do we make sure that it's not just all about the money? So let me ask you the question, how much is enough? Because that's what we get asked. I'm just heading off one of the questions. In your experience, how much is enough to get people interested? So again, in terms of the research that we conducted with the Irons, the most common number that people gave as a reward was between £500 and £750. Don't be afraid, though, to give different levels of reward for different levels of skill scarcity, because people accept that there's different levels of reward in an organisation, and therefore will accept that there's different levels of reward for making different levels of referral. But appeal to that team augmentation, appeal to people about, if we get the best talent, if you help us find the best talent, then we will all succeed together. You personally have a greater chance of success if you help build the skills and abilities of your own team. Think about social advocacy. How can you help people share things socially? Think about gamification to actually tie in that aspect of the hunt. And think about charity hookups to leverage the self. So I'd like to show a video, which is the one we've not tested, so we'll give that a whirl. For an organisation called BARD. This was shown as a way of introducing their employer referral programme, and hopefully you'll see how we've used all those various tribe, hunt and self levers to drive up participation.
Great people are BARD's lifeblood. You do the right thing for our patients, our customers, and for our business. You help us advance lives and the delivery of healthcare. No excuses. You simply make an incredible difference. No matter what job you do at BARD, you help us deliver quality, integrity, service, and innovation. Help us find more great people like you. To reward and recognise you for helping us finding more talent, not only will we reward you with up to $5,000 when they join, we'll also donate an extra 15% to the leading charity Médecins Sans Frontières. You can also choose to donate part or all of your reward to Médecins Sans Frontières, and BARD will match the donation. Since 1971, these incredible people have been delivering emergency medical aid wherever and whenever it is needed to people affected by armed conflict, epidemics, natural disasters, and exclusion from healthcare. We're always looking for great talent for both current vacancies and to build our talent pool for future careers. And there's no one better than you to help us do it. You know BARD inside out. You know we play to win. You understand our culture and the type of people who enjoy and succeed at BARD. So help us to advance lives and the delivery of healthcare while contributing to a leading charity. Great people are our lifeblood. Who do you know that's our type? Refer someone today. Visit www.bardtalent.com.
So I hope you agree that's appealing to much more than greed, and that has been one of our most successful referral programs in certainly the 20 years that I've been doing this job. So, the C for celebrate. People are doing great things. Celebrate that, because that actually creates something that we like to call ERP envy. Lots of little celebrations. If somebody makes a referral, put a balloon on the back of the chair. Send them a little thank you note. Take them down to the staff restaurant for a free lunch. Give them a pat on the back. What you want to do is you want people to say, well, why aren't I involved in that event? And the reason is we've not made a referral. So celebration creates and replicates behaviour. And then finally, the T is for technology. And this is probably one of the most developing parts of ERP. Choose what's right for you, though. There are, like in any kind of tech, there's lots and lots of different things coming to market. We've built apps for clients. We've built referral sites for clients. We've bought apps off the shelf for clients. Some clients use a variety of different ways of making their referrals because they might have geographically dispersed or people who don't have access to technology. Find what will work for you in terms of driving participation. But things like the technology and the apps can actually help with gamification. So there's an example on the screen here which shows how people are receiving micro rewards but are also winning points towards that. And that just goes back to that competitive nature. But also you can use them to make social shares. So going back to that sense of tribe and self, that's where people can actually share their vacancies automatically without their network. Technology is a really great way of leveraging that. But a word of caution, caveat emptor, just make sure that you're buying it for the right reasons. It's going to work for you. And then I guess this is where I do my impression of a 6-foot blonde German woman, because Maddie wants, I can't qualify in any scope. Maddie would have loved to have been with you today. Maddie Lauderman is the HR director of Bard, and she wanted to come and share the results with you today. She's based in Frankfurt, and when we did this presentation in London, she actually travelled across just to be with us for the day. It was the day before her 40th birthday. Her husband told me I had to get her back on the plane to get back. Fortunately, I did it. But Bard has actually been acquired in the last few weeks, and as you can imagine, as the HR director of business has just been acquired, she really can't spare the time to be with us today, but sends her apologies. Had she been here, she would have shared that this organisation, it's a very distinct organisation. Bard is a business that probably none of you have heard of. It's the BMW of medical devices in certain sectors. So it competes against the likes of Johnson & Johnson, Boston Medical, Meditron. These are huge organisations with very, very much bigger budgets than Bard. And it needed to punch above its weight when it came to its employer brand and this employee referral program. So the talent competitors that they face are vast, huge, and the kind of Goliaths of the world. So they're also very geographically dispersed. This ERP had to work across the whole of EMEA, and actually was so successful, it was adopted across the whole of the world. So there's also a range of different policies and programs. I'm sure you're aware, if you work across lots of different areas, all the different parts of Europe had their own existing policies. Legal frameworks in France are very different to legal frameworks in Germany, so it had to comply with all of that. But more than anything else, there's a very, very strong corporate culture within Bard and local subcultures, so it had to accommodate that. And it also had to appeal equally to sales reps earning hundreds of thousands of dollars, to nurses working in the UK that obviously, clearly, unfortunately, aren't earning hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it had a very, very wide spread of people to work through. And it also had to end, this was part of their direct resourcing, this was the mainstay, the first execution within their employer brand, and the first plank of their direct resourcing strategy. So it had to end, no pressure, Creed, it had to end their reliance on third-party resources. So the strategy, you've seen the video, the strategy was to build a relationship with Médecins Sans Frontières so we could appeal to more than just greed. We also, and this was vitally important, secured the backing of the senior stakeholders. The senior stakeholders with Bard they report their numbers to Wall Street every quarter. If it isn't putting a pound in the till, they don't want to know about it. We had to really evidence the ROI from this. But once we'd done that, once we'd got that senior stakeholder backup, they really, really flew to it. And in fact, that's why they were able to match the donation to Médecins Sans Frontières. It was about leveraging the pride that people naturally felt in working for Bard and what it did for the lives and healthcare of people. It needed to have a local flavour. It needed to have general marketing behind it. It was launched at the EMEA Sales Conference. Needed to have video content, and also we built a responsive site for it to leverage that. But the thing, we did all this great thing, we did all this with HR, but the thing that made, for me, the thing that made this work more than anything else is the fact that we gave it as a resource to the local offices, and they ran with it and made it their own. So they did these not glossy pictures at all, are they? But they did bakes, they did that kind of thing. They held their local events that really, really turned it into a local flavour. So we just gave them the platform and they ran with it. So the impact in 2016, so we've not got 2017 numbers, but they are better than this, was that 40% of hires came through talent spotting from zero. 70% of hires were made in emerging markets. They, in 2016, gave $40,000 to Médecins Sans Frontières through the scheme. It was announced at the sales conference, talking about senior leadership buy-in. The VP was so moved by this, they doubled that on the spot and gave a cheque for £80,000 to Médecins Sans Frontières, which is the equivalent of keeping a doctor in the field. I mean, that saved lives. But from a client perspective, $1.6 million cost avoidance in the first year. We have to call it cost avoidance. One of the things we learned with Bard is if you call it saving, it gets taken off them. So HR got £1.6 million, or $1 million, pretty much the same thing these days, to invest in other projects. And mainly they invested it in a completely under-resourced HR team, I have to say. The labour turnover of the people that joined is 50% down on the normal turnover figures for Bard. The time to fill was reduced by 30%, so it delivered against all the criteria that we set ourselves. It cemented HR's focus, because even with HR, there were some people, I know people talked about line managers today, thinking a bit reliant on recruiters. There were some outliers in HR that were reliant on recruiters. So it gave them no place to hide and really cemented their support for the direct resourcing strategy. But I think more than anything else, if Maddie was here, what she's most proud of is that it gave quite a commercial-minded organisation a real CSR focus. If you'd have said to Caroline, myself, Maddie, and the head of HR that we were going to donate £80,000 to a leading charity because of an ERP, and that people would be focused on more than just the book, but on building great teams and on doing something and actualising about the tribe, the hunt and the self, I don't think we would have believed you. But I think that is Bard's greatest achievement, and Maddie would be very proud to share that with you today. So, we have written a guide to employee referral programs. If you would like a copy of that, or you'd like to pick our brains about anything with regards to yourself, just drop us a quick email at hello@creedcoms, and we'll get back to you with whatever questions or the guide, whatever you'd like to receive from us. Again, apologies from Maddie. She really does she hates doing these, but she quite likes them in a way as well, a bit like ourselves. But she does send her apologies. But thank you very much for your time today. Thank you.